Hello, amazing Warm Beach Camp counselors. We used to have really lengthy, multiple camp meetings heading into Warm Beach Camp, but I thought just doing it over YouTube might be a little bit easier for everyone to fit into their schedules just to watch on their own time, and then you can check in with me if you have any questions, email, text, call, whatever works best for you. And I'll do my best to get back to you probably the day before camp because I'm going to be gone on vacation starting this Saturday. So this video is going to be going over the schedule, and then I'll do another one on child safety and how to handle the beautiful treasures that are coming to camp. So the schedule I'll email out to you guys as well, but just to kind of talk through some of what's going on and what's expected and hoped for from our leaders. We're going to all meet at the church at 2 o'clock to carpool up to Warm Beach Camp. I will need to probably head up earlier than that to start the check-in process with the campground and pay for everything and all of that. So I'll find some leaders to help with that, but it's kind of a nervous time for kids. A lot of times they're first sleepaway camp, so being extremely outgoing as much as you can do to introduce yourself to every kid you meet, reassure moms, ask their names, ask what they like to do for fun, ask what they're looking forward to about camp. And excited and nervous can feel a lot alike, and it's just a time to start to build those relationships, reassure those kids, be praying in your mind and your heart for the kids as soon as you see them and are meeting them there. They'll do a prayer, and then around 2:15 everyone will drive up to Warm Beach Camp and most likely arrive around 4. It's kind of unpredictable with traffic and construction and things like that, but that's about what I'm guessing. We're going to have a girls' wing and a boys' wing, unless anyone else registers because we're out of beds in each wing, then we'll have to split things up a little bit. Still by gender, but we might have one smaller cabin. And then at 4:30, we're going to play a game called Sneak, and this is one of the funnest games we play at camp. We're going to start off with our best game just to kind of have a fun kickoff. The leaders will need to dress as crazy as possible, so like face paint, tie-dye spandex, chicken costume, like any Halloween costume is great. Just be as weird looking as possible to make it fun and silly. All the kids wait in the cabins. The leaders go out and hide a ton of eggs throughout the campground. They're raw eggs. And there's 2 teams. And the kids have to try and make it to the empty carton of eggs. And if a leader sees them, and the leader says to stop, they have to do whatever the leader says. So if the leader says you need to propose to Jimmy, they have to go propose to Jimmy, or you have to do 5 push-ups, they have to do 5 push-ups. Or if they're sneaking eggs and they have multiple eggs in their pockets, you can tell them they have to crack it on their head or their friend's head, or throw it against a tree. And so they're trying to sneak the eggs to the carton, and the first team to fill up their carton of eggs wins. And it's kids versus leaders, and it's just really fun. So that's our first game. Then we'll let the kids shower off, get all the raw egg off of them, get dressed for dinner in the main dining hall. Our table color is orange. And then we'll come back to the tent outside Whistler for worship led by Elliot and a message. I'll be preaching. And then after that, we're going to just enjoy. It's beautiful there. So we're going to hike down to the water. It's not a bad hike at all. We've done it every year with the kids, and it's going to be either all water or all mud. It's kind of hard to predict, but if it's all mud, it's really fun because then everyone just comes back covered. And then we'll go into small groups. There'll be 3 groups of 8. One group doing crafts, another group playing laser tag because we own our own set, and another group doing a Bible study, and it's just kind of an introduction to what is the Bible, how many books are in it, what's it all about, what's kind of the overarching story. And so they'll rotate through, and everyone will get a chance to do the craft, the laser tag, or the Bible study. And then we'll start a movie at 9:15. At 11:15, lights out, and these kids are still just babies, and they'll need to go to sleep. So be firm but kind, like Mary Poppins, and just let them know, it's time to stop talking, time to just try and close your eyes. I know it's exciting. There's going to be some kids who are going to be a little bit homesick and just having them kind of take some deep breaths and picture something happy. Especially the boys at this age, sometimes their bodies grow faster than their bladder size, and they still struggle with bedwetting just because of the way their body's developing. And so just feeling really gracious and kind of tuned in, like if someone's hesitant to get out of bed or something does happen, just not to embarrass them and help them as much as you can. You can come get me and I'll help too. Just trying to get the kids to go to sleep. We'll get up at 7:45 on Saturday and have breakfast at 8:15 in the main dining hall. Then we'll come back and do a devotion, and this is a big thing for the leaders. It's going to be led by you. So I'm going to have you share your testimony with the kids, answering 4 questions. What in your life drew you to Jesus Christ? Like, was it that made you say, like, yeah, I want to be a follower of Jesus? Was it his forgiveness? Was it his love? Was it his teaching on loving your enemies? Like, what was it that drew you in your heart to Jesus? 2, what helped you decide to follow Christ? So like if you had kind of a turning point of like, I'm not sure if God's real, but I'm going to give him a chance. Or I saw this Christian and I knew that love was supernatural, and I wanted to experience that too. Sharing what God is doing in your life right now. Like, how has he been speaking to you? How has he been helping you grow? How has he been challenging you or comforting you? And then also sharing what your favorite Bible verse is and why. And so you're going to want to start to think on that ahead of time, maybe write it out. But then when it's time, just share from your heart and know ahead of time, like, what is my favorite Bible verse? Maybe look some up and figure it out. But that's going to be a great time for the leaders to get to share. And you'll lead that in your own cabin groups. I won't be there directing it. 9:15, we'll play Mission Impossible. This is another really fun game where I'll probably have 3 or 4 kids out hiding in the woods, and 1, maybe 2 ravens. We'll see. The kids hiding in the woods hide with a color marker. Everyone has a different color. The raven has a black marker, like black like a raven. And then all the kids are going to try and find all the color marker kids that are hiding and get a mark on their hand from each one. But if the raven catches them, then the raven can cross out all the marks they've gotten and they have to start over. And then the first kid to make it back to home base with all the marks not having been caught wins. So it's a really fun game. The kids love it. After Mission Impossible, we'll have free time and snack for an hour. We only do hour-long chunks of free time at this camp because the kids have trouble with more time than that. So it's different than like a middle school camp. But when they have free time, they need to check in with their leader first to make sure the leader knows where they're going. Like, we're going to go check out the pool, or, we want to check out the gift store, or we're going to stay in their cabins and talk, or whatever. And then groups of like 3 or more. So we don't ever want just 1 or 2 kids wandering off alone. Then we'll come back at 11 and do a craft and a memory verse in the tent outside Whistler. At 11:30, we'll do some just get to know your cabin time, and you get to lead that and decide how that time's going to go. So you could plan to play 2 truths and a lie, where you tell 3 facts, 2 are true, 1's a lie, and everyone has to guess. Or you could lead them in a game of playing horseshoes and just hanging out and talking. Or maybe you all paint your nails together, or do crazy face paint or something. Whatever you want to do, that's going to be your time to help your cabin kind of bond and get to know each other more. 12:15 will be lunch. 11:45, the kids will get changed for swimming. 1 o'clock, the kids will go swimming. We don't have our own separate swim time this year. We tried, and it was all booked. And so we're going to swim for at least an hour, but it's open swim time. And we want everyone to go to the pool. It's nice they have these tables and chairs that you can sit at there, so no one has to swim if they don't want to, but we want everyone at the pool just so we know where everyone is and that they're safe. At 1:50, the kids will head back to get changed, because one thing we're doing differently this year is I paid for all the kids to do the climbing tower at the same time, so that it wasn't just like a bunch of schedules we're all figuring out. So our climbing hour time slot is 12:15 to 4:15. We have 24 people at camp, so if not all the kids want to do it, that's just fine, because that we won't have time for everyone to do it. And we'll also have alternative activities going on during the climbing tower, while other kids are waiting, because 2 hours is a long time. And the nice thing is the climbing tower is located right next to our cabin, station area, Whistler, and by the pool, and the field. So you can kind of see everything that's going on from the climbing tower. It's like centrally located. We're also going to build a giant slip and slide at that time, so I'll need help from you leaders setting that up, pulling out the plastic and putting dish soap on it. And we get like landscaping plastic, not a regular slip and slide, so we make it giant, and it's really fun. Like multiple kids can go down at once. Then we'll have another hour of free time, and during free time we'll always put out snacks, but we'll ration how much we put out at a time, just because kids struggle with impulse control and, having enough, not like hoarding snacks a lot of times too. Then we're gonna have from 4 to 5:30. I haven't filled up that time slot completely. I'm debating another big camp game, but I might end up doing like a lip sync battle or something where everyone can get together as a cabin and pick a song, try and choreograph it, and come back and perform it for everyone, just because the kids really enjoy it. For the girls, I never know how the boys go because I'm with the girls, but for the girls, most of the fun is the planning. And it's always just really silly and cute, and we love it. Then after dinner, we'll do dinner at 5:30, and then we'll carpool down to the canoes, which you drive to the horse stables, and then from there you park and walk a really long ways down a trail to get to the canoes. So it takes a long time to get there, and we're almost always running late. There's also stinging nettles down there, so have the kids be careful. But the canoes are so fun. It's always the highlight of camp for me. It's my favorite part. That'll be from 6 until 8:30 is when we have the amphitheater, but I think we'll be in the canoes for about an hour depending on the tides. Get back, get changed, a lot of times we're all wet, and then try to get to the amphitheater just when we can. Start s'mores at the bonfire. The amphitheater is the most beautiful spot on the Warm Beach campground. You can see the sun setting over the valley. It's just so, and the water, it's so pretty. We'll do s'mores and then worship and message, and then we'll come back after that to the lobby and do another movie. I haven't picked movies yet. It's always stressful for me because I'm not a big movie person myself, and so I don't know what to pick for the kids, but we'll find something. And then lights out as soon as the movie's done, having the kids go back to their cabins. The other thing is our number one child safety rule is you can never be alone with a child. So like if just one child is tired and you want to go to bed, you can't just like have you and one kid go back to the cabin alone. The other thing is there always needs to be enough leaders up with the kids to take care of them. So if you're exhausted, you gotta tough it out. It's the hardest part is staying up late with the kids, and having a good attitude and being helpful and still cleaning up even when it's late. But it's really important to tough it out till that like 11 o'clock bedtime, and then wake up with a smile on your face, ready to be inspiring for the kids too. Differently this year, to save us money and also to allow for sleep, I planned that we would do our own breakfast on Sunday so that we could sleep in until like 8 o'clock, and then we'd have just breakfast in the lobby. We'll buy like croissants and have parents donate items and just eat in there. We'll figure out coffee for leaders because that'll be crucial. And then at 8:30 we'll do kind of a cleanup of the camp, walk through all the cabins and pick up trash and all the campground around us that we may have littered or that sort of thing, sweeping out the cabins, cleaning bathrooms, wiping down countertops, getting all the kids to help and participate. It's important character building to learn to take care of a space and honor who's going to come next and who prepared it for you and that sort of thing. At 9 o'clock we'll do worship and a message, and we'll talk about baptism. And it's not like forcing kids to get baptized at all. It's reminding kids that if you have been baptized, that this is something that you get to remember and live every day. And so just reminding them of what it means to live out their faith. And then if kids have committed their life to Christ, which we always give an opportunity to do Saturday night, if they've committed their life to Christ, we encourage them to get baptized because Jesus commanded, if you say you want to follow me, baptism is that like outward sign to let everyone know I'm his, I love him. So we'll talk about that on Sunday. And then we'll pack up and load the cars, come back for a circle time and let the kids reflect on what were their biggest memories and takeaways from camp. Maybe something they're grateful for. How did they grow personally? Like maybe they got more brave on the climbing tower, or made a new friend when they've always been shy. And then how did they grow closer to Jesus? And no one has to share, but they're just free to share if they want to. And I'll help the kids keep it short so everyone gets a chance. And we'll have a send-off prayer and drive back to the church for parents to pick up, arriving back probably around 11:30. It's hard to tell. I mean, traffic is changing so much with the boom and population growth in the Seattle area, so it's hard to tell traffic-wise now versus just a couple of years ago even. And if you can wait around until the kids are picked up and all of that, it's great, and say goodbye to them. And it's a really fun weekend. This is my 31st year doing Warm Beach Camp. The first time I went, I was 2 weeks old. My mom was running the camp, and then I started helping her every year after that and going along. So it's something I'm really familiar with. I know it's going to be great. We have a lot of new families joining us this year, and I'm so excited about that. And I think there's just going to be great friendships for the kids, and it's just a chance for us as leaders to be really present with remembering God's with us and that he has an agenda for the weekend, and listening to God's schedule and God's intentions for each moment, and taking a moment to be present with the other leaders and encouraging each other, because you're all incredible, and it's just a great weekend to spend with great people and to really get to know the kids, because each kid really is God's miracle, God's masterpiece that he's made. And so just seeing them as God sees them, loving them, encouraging them, and helping to make the camp function by cleaning up as we go, helping set things up, and putting the kids' needs first, whatever those might be. So that's kind of it for how the weekend looks. Text me, call me, email me if you have questions, and I'll send you a copy of the schedule. I still have to edit a few things, but that's the overall plan. So yeah, thanks.